Hello humans, welcome to the Me I Hide, where you watch videos of me exposing the side of myself I don't usually share with others. If you like my videos, please hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified for future videos. So if you don't know already by the title of this video, I will be talking about what it means to be a first generation student. But before I talk about that, I do want to explain what a first generation student is. A first generation student is someone who is the first person in their family to go to college and obtain the degree. So what does it mean to be a first generation student? You are changing the story and setting a new standard to what success can look like. You're pretty much becoming a role model to generations after you and even your own generation. Being a first generation student is a great thing. It should be applauded. It's such a great honor, but it does come with some challenges. Some of these challenges that I'm going to speak about come with some facts and some statistics, and I will link them down below in case you want to check out the facts because I'm only highlighting some of them. So only 25% of first generation students actually attend a 4-year institution. So that means 75% of students attend a community college or a trade school. I'm not saying that a trade school or a community college is bad. What this means to me, 75% of first generation students probably weren't able to afford a 4-year institution. A lot of first generation students actually make up of a lot of minority groups and come from a low socioeconomic status. First generation students are more likely to attend part-time compared to their peers. So again, because of only 25% going to a 4-year university, the rest 75%, they probably couldn't afford it, so they probably can't even afford college itself, and they have to go to school and work to afford going to college. First generation students are less likely to complete their college degree in 6 years. I completed 3 years of college. I've done 1 year of leave of absence. I'm on my 2nd year of leave of absence, so that's 5 years. And then I just need 1 more year to get my degree, so that's 6. But I need another year to get my credential, which is 7. When first generation students go to college, you might feel pride and you're excited to go to college, and you're just so overwhelmed with excitement that you don't realize what you're getting yourself into. Now, something that first generation students actually struggle with is, embarrassment, like nervous, because you get a little bit embarrassed. And when I say embarrassed, I mean it's because a lot of college students kind of start to feel doubt on their academic abilities. First generation students demonstrate lower rates of college readiness, which puts them at a higher risk of failing out of college. Now, I read that from the paper because I felt like that was too long to remember. You start to feel doubt on your abilities in college because you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. Now, another thing I do want to go over is that English is not a first language for nearly 20% of first generation students. You go to college and you meet all these people, but then you realize that all of these new people that you're meeting come from different cultures and different socioeconomic statuses. Now, in my experience, I didn't realize I had an accent when I spoke until I went to college, because I met people that speak perfect English and with such a big, vocabulary that I didn't know even existed. I was always so into participating in class and discussions because I love sharing my opinion and I love hearing other people's opinion. And once I started to communicate my opinions in class in college, I started to notice that a lot of people, sounded smarter than me. And, they spoke perfect English and they used words that I never even used before. And I kind of started to doubt myself, and I felt like I wasn't good enough to participate. And I felt that, I'm not even smart enough. So I'm just, my opinions aren't valid, and I'm just gonna stay quiet. And that shouldn't be the case. Like, we shouldn't feel that way, but it is something that a lot of first generation students struggle, and it is definitely something that I struggled with. I've heard, administration, I think an assistant, they were having a conversation, and they were speaking about a certain student, or maybe like a certain group of students, but I think it was one student, and they mentioned that the only reason they're here is because they fit a certain box. And what I mean by that is a lot of schools pick certain people to show that they're diverse, and this could be a good or a bad thing. I just don't see it as the best way. But this student is a first generation, comes from a minority group in a low socioeconomic, household, and they pretty much said that they just pitied his application, his college resume, so that's why he's here. Well, he's there. I'm thinking like I'm still there, but he's there in school. I felt so confused and I was upset, and I was like, wait, so did that happen to me? So then I looked it up, and I did some research, and that's when I found that out, that a lot of schools try to diversify their student body. So they picked me out of a pity pile. Because my last name starts with an A, I was on top. But when they looked at my college resume, they were like, okay, after a few of the majority, they're like, okay, I think we need to get someone else. And they looked through mine, they're like, okay, she's a brown girl, she's poor, and look, her parents didn't even go to college. Her mom barely made it through high school, and her dad didn't even go to high school. So what, let's get her. It's gonna look good on our statistics, or on our student body, or on our report, or whatever. I thought of it that way. Obviously, I'm being dramatic. Maybe, I don't know if that's how schools' admissions office is, but that's how I felt. And I felt so much doubt in my abilities. I felt like I was not good enough. I felt like I'm just here in pity, so why should I even care? Like, I didn't make it here because I worked hard. I made it here because I fill a certain box. First generation students have, the sense of responsibility for their family. And I'm not saying responsibility is a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. Obviously, it's a part of growing up. But there's this sense of responsibility that, you have to succeed because we're relying on you, but they want you to do it on their terms. And I think that is because, families just don't understand. They don't understand how college works. So when you come back from school, for Thanksgiving or Christmas break or whatever, they ask you hey, how's school? And you say, well, yeah, it's great or whatever. And they're like, oh, so what are you majoring in? And then you tell them, they're like, okay, what are you going to do with that though? And they're like, how are you going to get money? How are you going to get paid for that? Or they expect that once you go to college, you're going to have a job lined up for you. And that's just not how it works. And that is something that I've seen a lot of people do, and other family members, they ask oh, okay, so what are you going to do with that major? What can you do? Can you do a lot of things with that in case one thing doesn't work? And I guess, yeah, they're just trying to look out for you, but that just adds on to the pressure because it feels like you're expecting the student to fail. This is, I think, the biggest challenge that a lot of students go through, first generation students go through. And it's abandonment guilt. And I can do a whole video. I could talk a long time about the whole topic of abandonment guilt, feeling guilty for leaving your family. Now, yeah, we shouldn't feel guilty for leaving because we didn't abandon them. We were going to get, an education, but they're still struggling at home. And I'm over here just trying to succeed. It's like, oh man, I kind of feel guilty. I'm actually going to give an example that I went through. My family, we struggle a lot, and we struggle with, putting food on the table. And, I went to college, I have room and board, and then I ended up being an RA, so I got it for free. And every time, I'd get a call from home, or I'd call home, we have conversations, and, I'd check up on them because I felt, a sense of responsibility. And they tell me, we're a little short on money, and it's, a little hard right now. And every time I went, to the caf, to the dining hall, we called it the caf, but I'd get my plate, and I'll have my dinner, my breakfast or whatever, and I just felt so guilty for having a full plate of food knowing that my family can't even afford half the things that I'm eating, because I couldn't even get seconds. I can get, whatever I want. I could get a main plate, I could get a side, I can get, cereal if I didn't get full. I just felt so guilty having having options to pick from when they literally had no option but to eat whatever was in the fridge. I'd sit down with my roommates and I wouldn't throw my food away because I didn't like to. So I'd just take it to go and go to my dorm, and I just cry. And I just felt so upset and so guilty for being able to have this food. It hurt my heart. It hurt my gut. It hurt my whole body knowing that they just couldn't afford it. And I'm over here eating for free. It really took a toll on me, and it could ruin my whole mood for the rest of the week. I remember one time I took 2 weeks without eating because I wasn't hungry. And my roommates, or one of my roommates, she would know that I wouldn't eat, and she'd be like, "You gotta eat. I'm already thinking about breakfast tomorrow morning." And I don't know. I really appreciate their help, and I hope they know that now. But it just was really hard on me. First generation students receive less support from their families compared to their peers. Now, if you're a parent watching this, or you're a high school student, or you're a college student who's first generation, you can write these down if you want. Please tell your parent, or take this advice for yourself. I think that parents lack education on the college process, and that ignorance can really affect the whole experience for the student on wanting to go to college or wanting to reach out to you. Obviously, when you're a first generation student, your parent has no idea. And because you don't understand, or a parent doesn't understand, it makes it hard for the student to realize that it's an option and that it's okay to want to, pursue higher education. Be patient with your student. You're learning with them. They don't know either. So if you have questions and you want them to answer right away, they're going to be upset with you, and it's just going to create so much tension, and you don't want to ruin that relationship with your child. My experience, my parents didn't understand, and I risked relationships with my parents when I was in high school. It's better now, way better now, but it could have been different if they just educated themselves on the process and just reached out to people, maybe family members or friends that their child went to college or whatever. I think the most important thing is just to support your child and educate yourself on whatever they want to do, because if you have some, a foundation of understanding, I think the whole experience can be positive and the relationship can be so much stronger. I hope you like this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to support this little community, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified for more videos. Comment below if you have a similar experience to mine, and if you want, just talk to me about your whole college experience or any questions that you may have. I will certainly answer them. I like hearing from you guys, my little community, even though we're so small, but I have faith that we can grow.